Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. Today we are looking at Aliens Dust to Dust, issue 1 of 4. This is from Dark Horse Comics, 2018. Now, Dark Horse has had the license for Aliens before, and they were very popular with diehard Aliens fans, and I haven't read them in 10-15 years at least. So I was really interested to see this one come out, and the cover is really well done. I think it's Gabriel Hartman did the cover? Hardman. Gabriel Hardman and Rain Bredo, something like that. It's a really cool cover, and it definitely inspires a sense of dramatics to it. To the jaded, cynical eye, like I have, it does have a very kind of, I would say, mixed feeling for it. It feels very reminiscent of an average movie, and in some ways feels a little trite, but at the same time, it is a really action-packed issue, and it would be fitting for a movie. This is a really fast-paced story. Kid wakes up, something's going on, he hears gunshots outside, his window explodes, he runs into his mom's room, and there's a face hugger on her, and he's like, oh my gosh. The mom gets up, face hugger appears to be dead, and they hear an explosion outside, and they gotta run for it. It's time for an evac. The colony-wide code yellow. She's like, uh-oh, bad mojo. So they gotta get out of there. There's not much talking, actually. You would think modern comics have this habit of just blah, blah, blah paragraphs that I don't care about, that nobody in the real world would do. This is way more realistic. She's like, pack a bag, we're leaving. And she's saying, just step over the dead bodies. So they pass some other face huggers, and they're like, oh my god. So they get in their little futuristic car and drive off. They see some people getting munched on, and oh my god. They're all over the place. They find some other dude who helps them out, gets them on a transport, and it's just go, go, go. There's no screwing around. When a xenomorph gets killed, it sprays acid everywhere, which I always thought was a little extreme. It screws up the shuttle, and then things really go downhill, and you get a cliffhanger ending that you would expect to see, but you don't think they're actually going to go through with and commit to. I actually highly recommend this. It's been a long time, but I've always been a pretty solid fan of Dark Horse Comics. They just haven't had anything that I really want to read lately. I really like their Conan work back in the day, and their Predator and Alien stuff was always fun. So when I saw this, I remembered I liked all the Predator stuff. The Alien stuff, to me, I've never been that huge of an Aliens fan, but it was always well done. It just wasn't necessarily my thing. This is no exception, but I will definitely be picking up issue 2 of this. I thought it was very well done, very fast paced. It wasn't the greatest story in the world. It's a little contrived in some respects, but it was fun, and you don't often find comics that are this well put together, because even if you've seen the story before in a metaphorical sense, it is still an action issue where they don't screw around. They don't have this needless fluffy stuff inserted in. None of that cutesy crap. This is an action movie, a rated R action movie that gets going, pulse pounding from the beginning to the end. There is no room for goofing off. I think there's like 2 sentences of frivolous dialogue, but it's the type of stuff that would actually be said in those situations. You gotta tell the kid, look, we gotta go now. Here's why. Go pack your stuff, and that's it. On with the show. And it was all practicals, stuff that would be there for a legitimate emergency, not fluffy storytelling nonsense that you get in Marvel comics so often. So I definitely recommend this if you're tired of the paragraphs of conversation that go nowhere and mean nothing. This is an action issue, and it's a fun action issue, and if you like alien movies, this is definitely a good one for you. Even if you don't, I think you'll still get something out of it. It's a good science fiction story beginning. We'll see how the other issues go, but for now, I would definitely say pick this one up. So the interior art is by Gabriel Hardman, as well as the script. So the same guy that did the cover. Definitely give it a shot and support good books. But that'll do it for me. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. Please hit like, and if you like what we're doing here, hit subscribe, and we hope to see you on the next one. Hello and welcome to another bad comic review. This time we are looking at Aliens Dust to Dust, issue 2 of 4 from Dark Horse Comics 2018. Okay, so remember last issue, all these people from the city were trying to get out. We're focused on this kid and his mom. Well, now they're on the shuttle. Shuttle's not able to gain a lot of ground because there's a storm going on. And suddenly a xenomorph pops out of this lady's chest and it's slithering around. Kid tries to take his seatbelt off and he goes bouncing around and one of the guys grabs him, even though he fights with the guy because the kid's kind of an idiot. Finally, the ship gets up in the air and the kid has to see the dead body, which is really a downer. It's a pretty dramatic moment. And this lady comes out, she's one of the pilots, and she's like telling people what's going on, and they're like, hey, there's an alien around here. There's a little chest burster, xenomorph. She's like, well, we got a little time before it gets big. Kid grabs a pistol off a body and the soldier's body from the first issue and tries to take a shot, but they're like, no, you'll decompress the thing. And that ends up getting somebody killed. This shuttle, which is Shuttle 7, starts losing stabilizers and then bashes into the side of a cliff, and it's gonna crash. The shuttle's got these like airbags that pop up around it to kind of limit some of the damage, which is pretty good, but it doesn't really work. But it does keep everybody alive, except the people that were already dead. And they manage to get out of there, and one of the ladies is like, grab what you can and disembark. So they get out there, and there's a company man out there, and he's like, all right, time to blow the shuttle. And they're like, well, there you go, good job. And obviously the captain and the co-pilot are not happy about that because any equipment on there is pretty well toast. And we learn the fate of the ship, the Carver, and it isn't good. And they try and communicate with someone, but they're not getting through. But the company guy knows that there is a facility nearby that they can go to, but they have to walk through the storm to get there. And the kid sees something right before they leave, but doesn't bother to tell anyone about it because he's a stupid idiot. Overall, this was a really good issue. I liked it quite a bit. It's a good second issue. It is pretty much a non-stop action story. Lots going on. It's pretty dramatic. I did like the art style overall. It's not generally my style of art, but it worked pretty well for the story. So the script and art were by Gabriel Hardman, coloring by Rain Brado, lettering by Michael Heisler. It was edited by Randy Stradley, and he did a great job keeping it a nice, tight story. Everything about this was a fun read. It was very well paced, very action oriented, but dramatic at the same time. And I thought it really furthered the plot, and I'm looking forward to issue 3. So this is a definite recommend from me, and that's my take on it. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss future reviews. And we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another bad comic review. This time we are looking at Aliens Dust to Dust issue 3. This is from the 2018 4-issue miniseries produced by Dark Horse. Script and art by Gabriel Hardman, coloring by Rain Burrito, lettering by Michael Heisler. I have the standard cover by Gabriel Hardman and Rain Burrito. The editor was Randy Stradley, designer Lynn Hung, digital art technician Matt Dreyer. Okay, so after the ship crashed and they've set out, there is a sandstorm splitting up the survivors of the shuttle, and they are being hunted by the one-armed alien. The kid, Max, is kind of dumb and doesn't listen very well, so when the co-pilot tries to find him, he ends up wandering off with another guy, and a lot of people are ending up dead at the hands of this one-armed alien. They manage to get to this substation thing that is across from a terraforming platform. Well, the terraforming plant has an escape shuttle, and they can tell that the shuttle has not been launched. So with only 5 of them as survivors, they're actually debating whether or not to leave the kid behind. Now things go incredibly bad real fast, and this was actually a pretty good issue. I think Max is an idiot, and I think he's actually responsible for a couple of these deaths along the way, far over these issues, but he is just a kid, so you can't really blame him too much. Plus things are going horribly wrong for him, and he's already lost pretty much everything. It looks like things are not going to get get any better for him or the remaining survivors. And we are left with a cliffhanger ending that definitely will lead into the conclusion. I actually like this issue a lot better than issue 2. I think it's very fast paced as far as the story goes, which does work out really well in this issue. Last issue was a little bit wonky in my opinion, so it didn't really flow as good as it should have, but this issue picks it up quite a bit. The art isn't a style that I particularly love. It works okay in this issue. I think it's a little better than the last issue, but I don't really like the style quite as much as a lot of people probably do. I think it's a little rough and the artist needs to work a little bit more on their anatomy work. And the paper quality is kind of trash. Dark Horse has really gone downhill in the last few years. I don't know why, and they've worked a lot of social justice crap into the Aliens franchise. I didn't see too much of that in this book. I thought it was pretty fun, and issue 3 is definitely the best of them so far. I'm going to read issue 4 and hopefully have that review up tomorrow. This issue is definitely the best of the 3 so far. It won't make a whole lot of sense in context. This issue alone does an okay job of telling a compelling narrative. You'll be kind of lost as to what's going on and how the people got in this situation, but you could jump in on this one. But that's just my opinion. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Aliens Dust to Dust issue 4. This is the final issue from the Dark Horse series from 2018. Script and art by Gabriel Hardman, coloring by Rain Barreto, lettering by Michael Heisler. I have the standard art cover by Gabriel Hardman and Rain Barreto. Edited by Randy Stradley, designed by Lin Wong, digital art technician Josie Christensen. The cover's pretty dynamic. Kid looks a little weird, but it's one of those images that from a distance looks better than up real close, and if you spend too long looking at it, it's gonna look kind of weird. Otherwise, yeah, not bad. The interior art is very similar to the cover art style, so if you like that, you'll like the interior art. But Max has managed to get himself out of various situations by sheer luck. This kid's not real sharp from what I could tell. Him and the other remaining survivor have to make their way to the terraforming station where they learn something horrific, that in fact the terraforming had failed and this building was used for something much worse. Something that the colony did only because it gave them enough money to keep going for a few years. So when an alien pounces on Max, we do see that the mother alien, as we're gonna call it, tackled the other alien and let him go. Well, in the process of escaping, Cinta gets injured. Cinta's the other survivor, so Max has to go to the shuttle alone, and that means going through an alien den, and it is all kinds of crazy. Overall, it's a pretty decent story. Am I gonna buy it in trade paperback? Probably not. Was it worth reading? Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Would I recommend it? Yeah, if you can find it cheap, I would recommend picking it up. It was a fun book, good read. The art style is good for its kind. I don't particularly care for that style. I thought it was kind of rough. It's an acquired art style that just isn't for me. I did enjoy reading the series. I didn't like the protagonist, but overall it was worth reading. I'd recommend getting it cheap. I didn't think it was good enough to buy in trade paperback or pay full cover price for, but it was okay. As far as Dark Horse goes, their paper quality is trash these days. They're taking a page out of the Marvel playbook of lowering the quality and charging you a higher price. So I would not pay cover price for these. It was not worth it to me. I did think it was worth $1 or so, and that would be about the extent of it. If you find it for more than $2, you're probably gonna feel a little cheated. But that's just my opinion. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you want to help the channel in other ways, links are in the description and on the about page, and we hope to see you on the next one.